You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report Scoreboard Show, podcast number 246.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana with some national sports news. Anything that Central Indiana sports fans are talking about, that's what we're talking about.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we think you picked a really good day. Today is April 25th, 2025. It's a Friday. So it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Can't wait to see her tonight. Coming up, the Colts got their guy. IU continues to add to its basketball roster. We have updates on day 2 of testing at IMS. And the NBA and NHL playoffs continue. Plus, it was CIC opening day in baseball and softball. And we've got the best news and notes section in all of Central Indiana sports podcasting. But first, please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Even if you're already subscribed at SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, it would help us out an awful lot and make it a lot easier for you to find our segments. If you'll subscribe, just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It is easy to find. Also, we had a 2-hour NFL Draft special podcast on Thursday night with Michelle Garman, Mike Rich, Will Rutherford, and my guy Mike Hutzel making his Central Indiana Sports Report debut. It was so much fun. There were some technical issues that made it a little hard to listen to at times, but I still think it would be a lot of fun to listen to. We will also have a draft recap on Sunday morning and Eli Edwards' Colts report on Tuesday morning. Of course, Mike Rich and I, and probably some others, will break down the Pacers Game 3 in Milwaukee on Friday night, and we'll have that for you first thing Saturday morning if everything goes according to plan. So much coming up, something for everybody. Well, the Colts got their man as they had hoped. Penn State tight end Tyler Warren fell to the number 14 spot, and the Colts were more than happy to take him.
I'm just going to come in and, do whatever is asked of me and do it to the best of my ability. That's kind of what I, try to do as a football player. So whatever.
Warren caught 104 passes for 1,233 yards and 8 touchdowns last year for Penn State. He also rushed for 218 yards and 4 touchdowns as a senior. And Chris Ballard said, the Colts are fortunate to have Warren fall to them at the 14th spot.
Sometimes you get a little lucky. Excited to get Tyler. We were patient. We had a pretty good feel when they started, when both tight ends started to fall that, and we liked both of the players, but good fit for us. Adds a toughness to our team.
Earlier in the draft, the Titans took Miami quarterback Cam Ward with the first draft pick overall. Wide receiver cornerback Travis Hunter was second to the Jaguars, and defensive end Abdul Carter is the Giants after they took him with the third pick. Some other first-round highlights, the Raiders took Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty 6th. The Bears took the first tight end off the board, Michigan's Colston Loveland 10th. The Cowboys drafted guard Tyler Booker at number 12. The Falcons took Georgia linebacker Jalen Walker at 15. The Buccaneers got a stellar wide receiver in Emeka Ibuka. The Giants traded up back into the first round to take Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart instead of Shedeur Sanders, a bit of a surprise. And the Eagles made a trade with the Chiefs to move up just one spot and get Alabama linebacker Jahad Campbell. The best players still available heading into the second part of the draft, the second and third rounds on Friday night, are Michigan cornerback Will Johnson and, of course, Shedeur Sanders, who was surprisingly not selected in the first round, and Ohio State running back Travion Henderson. IU got a pair of commitments Thursday for its basketball program, including one from a national champion. Florida 6'8 forward Sam Alexis is committed to transfer to Indiana after averaging 11.9 minutes as a junior for the Gators last year. He did average 10.8 points, 9.1 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks the year before at Chattanooga, as a sophomore. New head coach Darren DeVries also got a commitment from Elon transfer Nick Dorn. He chose the Hoosiers over North Carolina, Pitt, and Maryland after averaging 15.2 points as a sophomore. Dorn has 2 years of eligibility remaining. Game 3 of the Pacers-Bucks series is Friday at 8 on ESPNU, NBA TV, and the FanDuel Sports Network. Indiana leads the series 2-0 after eliminating Milwaukee from the playoffs last year. They say a series doesn't really start until the visiting team wins, and the Pacers head to Milwaukee, where head coach Rick Carlisle said it's going to be an awfully tough environment to win in.
It's always a great atmosphere in there, so it's going to be very loud, very raucous. They have great fans, and it's going to be a great environment to play a playoff game and very challenging.
The Knicks edged the Pistons 118-116 in a good one in Detroit Thursday night to go up 2-1 in the series. The Thunder made an historic comeback from 26 points down to beat the Memphis Grizzlies and take a 3-game series lead. Ja Morant was injured and was on crutches after the game. His status for Game 4 is unknown. The Clippers blasted the Nuggets 117-83 with some incredible defense. Man, can Kawhi Leonard play some defense. An hour before the Pacers start on Friday, the Celtics look to take a 3-0 series lead against the Magic in Orlando at 7 on ESPN. The final game of the night is a 1-1 series between the Lakers and Timberwolves in Minneapolis. That game tips at 9:30 and is also on ESPN. Pavel Buchnevich had a hat trick, and the Blues beat the Winnipeg Jets 7-2. Still down 2-1 in that series. The Panthers went up 2-0 on the Lightning with a 2-0 win. Toronto was up 3-0 on Ottawa after a 3-2 overtime victory on Thursday night. Also, the Minnesota Wild took a 2-1 lead on Vegas after a 5-2 win. On Thursday at IMS, Scott McLaughlin, Takuma Sato, Will Power, and Felix Rosenquist all went over 232 miles an hour in the final Indy 500 warm-up before May. McLaughlin's 232.686 set the pace. Sato was the fastest no-toe time at 232.565, and two-time reigning series champion Alex Palou was the fastest in race trim at 223.993. Sato and NASCAR star Kyle Kirkwood, who was 7th fastest on Thursday, had minor crashes early in the session. To our news and notes, Michelle Garman of the Tipton Tribune tweeted Thursday that former Tipton basketball head coach Cliff Hawkins has had a successful kidney transplant and is on the mend. Great news there. We hope to have Coach Hawkins on the Central Indiana Sports Report as soon as he fully recovers. Pendleton Heights star Olivia Jones tweeted Thursday that she's picked up a basketball offer from DePaul. Brian Waddell, a former Carmel star and son of Purdue great Matt Waddell, announced on Instagram that he's transferring from Purdue to Bellarmine. Indiana State has signed Plainfield basketball standout Ian Scott. Barry Odom and the Purdue football team has landed a top 20 tight end in the 2026 class in Amari Towns of Selma, Alabama. He chose Purdue over Arizona, Florida State, and Ole Miss. Warren Central defensive back Caleb Elkins tweeted Thursday that he's received an offer to continue his football career at Alabama. Former IU baseball star Matt Gorski homered in his first major league at bat in the second inning of the Pirates' 4-3 loss to the Angels in L.A. And Oak Hill senior Lance Wyrick has signed his letter of intent to continue his track and field career at Huntington. Wyrick has been on the Oak Hill football, swim, and track teams as a Golden Eagle. We moved to high school softball. 2A number 4 Alexandria 7-0 after beating Oak Hill 15-0 in its CIC opener Thursday. Brindley Humphreys threw a 3-hit shutout, and Stella Griffin went 4 for 4 and drove in 6 runs in the win. She has 11 RBIs over the last 2 days. 2A number 7 Madison Grant scored 9 times in the first and 9 times in the seventh and beat Eastbrook 18-4. The Argyles had 5 extra base hits, and Patricia Van Meter, Grace Wood, and Carly Holliday combined for 10 RBIs. Wood also scored 3 times, and McKenna Craig threw 3 scoreless innings to help the Argyles improve to 7-2 overall and 1-1 in the CIC. I'll have Madison Grant head coach Travis Havens and McKenna Craig for an Argyle season update sometime this weekend. Gracie Townsend Strait singled to score Braylon Wilson with the game-winning run to complete Blackford's 7th inning comeback to beat Elwood 10-9. Kelsey Arms hit for the cycle and her 5th home run of the season for 3-5 Elwood. 2A number 2 Lapel is 11-2 after beating Knightstown 11-1. Delaney Balzer led the Bulldog offense with a double, 4 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Noblesville scored the final 12 runs and beat 3A number 2 Western 12-3. Lucy George drove in 2 of the 3 runs with a 2-run homer in the 2nd inning for the 11-2 Panthers. Kate Murray threw a 4-hit shutout, and 4A number 11 Fishers beat 3A number 7 Yorktown 6-0. Olivia Jones and Claire Haven had 2 hits apiece for 7-2 Yorktown. Eastern won its first game of the season, 18-11 over Sheridan. Marley Cohn had 2 doubles, a triple, drove in 4 runs, and scored 3 times for the Comets. Amaya Das homered and had 4 RBIs for the Blackhawks. Clinton Central freshman Nuria Harvey threw a no-hitter, and the Bulldogs beat Taylor 13-0. The only 3 base runners that Harvey allowed were 3 Clinton Central errors. Carly Davidson had a double and a triple for the Bulldogs. Avery Layton struck out 17 of the 24 batters she faced, and Rossville beat Northwestern 6-1. Tessa Ortman had the lone hit for 3-5 Northwestern. Val and Pattengale went 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, drove in 4, and scored 3 times as Daleville beat Richmond 13-3. Reese Sprunger had a triple and 5 RBIs in Shenandoah's 20-5 win over Wapahani. Briley Kalakamo had a double, 2 singles, and drove in 3 for the winless Raiders. Bailey West went 5 for 5 with 2 doubles and a home run, scored 5 times, and drove in 5. That's a lot of 5s. In Westdale's 25-8 win over Monroe Central. Winchester beat Muncie Central 20-6. Bethesda Christian got past Liberty Christian 17-6. Number 4 Hamilton Southeastern beat Lawrence North 7-0. 3A number 1 New Pal 14, Mount Vernon 0. Carroll beat Delphi 18-2. Newcastle got past Cambridge City 11-4. It was Eastern Hancock 15, Randolph Southern 0. Wabash edged Northfield 7-6, and Manchester beat Triton 22-0. It has been the spring of Alexandria so far. Baseball, softball, and tennis all on a roll. The baseball team gave up 6 runs in the 2nd inning, but stormed back with 4 runs in the 5th and 3 in the 7th, including Mason Fuller's walk-off double in an 8-7 win over Oak Hill in both teams' CIC opener. Fuller finished 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and Brady Gast had a double and scored twice for 9-2 Alexandria. Dylan Archer was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs for the 5-6 Golden Eagles. Eastbrook stunned Madison Grant with an 11-1 win in the CIC opener for both teams. The Panthers dominated from start to finish behind Carter Doherty's strong pitching outing, and Kyler Hackman went 3 for 4 with a double, a triple, and 7 RBIs. We'll have an update on the Panthers season sometime this weekend with head coach Chris Holtzleider, Carter Doherty, and Kyler Hackman. Eastbrook is now 6-5. Madison Grant falls to 6-3. Blackford jumped out to a 5-1 lead against Elwood, fell behind 7-5 after the Panthers scored 3 times in the top of the 7th, then scored 3 times themselves in the bottom of the 7th to win its CIC opener. Trey McIntyre had an RBI single, then Bentley Storr scored the winning run on Elwood's 5th error of the game. Brylan Mort went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs for 2-7 Elwood. Blackford is now 6-5. Frankton held off a late Tipton charge and beat the Blue Devils 9-5. Riley Inglis powered the Eagle offense with a double and 4 RBIs. Mason Jones, Kane Oakley, and Finn Kress all crossed the plate twice for 2-4 Frankton. Aiden Borders was 3 for 3 with a double for 3-8 Tipton. Tri-Central led McConaughey 3-2 after 4.5 innings, but the Braves scored 5 times in its final 2 at-bats for a 7-4 win. Bennett Eisenberg was 3 for 4 with a double for McConaughey, and Jacob Klein had 2 doubles and scored 3 of the Trojans' 4 runs. Northfield won a slugfest against visiting Marion 11-10. Gage Sticken and Tayshawn Inman had 3 RBIs for the Giants. Inman had a triple and a home run in the loss. Clinton Central junior Dylan Heaton threw a complete game no-hitter as the Bulldogs beat Taylor 5-0. He lost his perfect game bid in the 7th inning. So Clinton Central had a no-hitter from its softball team and its baseball team on the same day. Daleville scored 4 times in the 7th, but it wasn't enough in a 7-6 loss to Blue River Valley in a Mid-Eastern Conference game. Bryson Sigler had an RBI and scored twice for the 5-4 Broncos. Caleb Ludicky was 3 for 4 with a double and 4 RBIs, and Monroe Central beat West Dell 17-1. Grayson Mealy homered for the second time this season for 3-6 West Dell. Class A number 1, Knightstown bounced back from its first loss of the season Wednesday with a 17-1 win over Cowan. University beat Liberty Christian 24-1, and Braden Bell had a double, scored a run, and drove in a run, and Anderson Prep's 19-2 loss to Irvington Prep. 4A number 2 Fishers beat rival and 7th-ranked Westfield 5-3. Number 6 Avon edged Hamilton Southeastern 10-9. Huntington North got by Manchester 9-6. It was Jay County 6, Woodland 5, Delphi 8, Carroll 5. North Miami beat Winnemac 2-1, and Lafayette Jeff beat Lebanon 3-1. In track and field, Marion's boys finished 7th and their girls finished 10th at Thursday's Charlie Riley Invitational at North Central in Indianapolis against a very good field. Mike Harrington won the 3200 against a strong field and helped the Giant 1600 relay team to a victory. Brownsburg won the boys' event, beating Lawrence North by 2 points. North Central edged Hamilton Southeastern by a point to win the girls' championship. Janessa Thomas won the 200, the long jump, and was part of Yorktown's 4x100 meter relay team that won in a dual meet win over Bluffton. 9 different Tigers won an individual event. Bluffton's boys beat Yorktown, but KJ Hudson, Thomas Loney, Cal Shaneda, Julian McKay, and Ephraim Doherty were individuals winners for the Tiger boys. Wapahani won the boys' meet, and Monroe Central won the girls' meet in a 3-way meet with Cowan. Jason Rahi won both distance events, and Connor Markham both hurdles events for the Raiders. Kokomo sophomore Jaslyn McKay set a new school record in the 300 hurdles in 46:10. She shattered Maggie Scheinman's 22-year-old record in a dual meet at Logansport, again just a sophomore. Daleville's Trishelle Johnson broke Daleville's 200-meter dash record in 26.3 in a dual meet at Alexandria. New Powell swept Pendleton Heights. The Dragon boys won 88-44, the girls 84-48. New Powell's Eli Wesson set a school record. The second time in 3 days, he set the school record in the 100-meter dash, this time in 10.86. And Northwestern's girls won 84-39 at Peru. To the Lynx, Oak Hill shot a 166 at Arbor Trace in a win over Madison Grant. Trent Nelson was medalist with a 39. Carson Hess added a 42. Braden Summers also shot a 42. Otto Nero a 43. Corbin Daly a 45. And Fenway Miller a 49. Mason Seward led the Argyles with a 43. Right behind was Bryce Yagi with a 46. Freshman Landon Tropf and state finals veteran Aaron Folda both went under par, and Eastbrook beat Yorktown 152-158 at TPC. Yorktown's Marshall Johnston shot a 37, and Nate Shaw Duresh, a 38, was good for 3rd and 4th in the meet. Tri-Central beat Carroll 175-200 on the front 9 at Angel Hill. Tri-Central's Tanner England shot a 41 to edge teammate Aiden Salisbury by a stroke for the medalist honor. Jay Jankoviak finished his round in 43, and Aaron Hoback shot a 49. North Central and Kokomo both shot 163s, but the Panthers got the win with a better 5th score. Kokomo's Jack Verley was the medalist with a 36. Bluffton beat Marion and Blackford in a 3-way meet with a 169 at Walnut Creek on Thursday. Blackford was second with a 242, and the Giants shot a 251. Riley Ridgeway led Blackford with a 53. And Eastern Hancock beat West Dell 158-233 behind Parker's Atkins 36 and Zach Stevens' personal best 9-hole round of 38. To girls tennis, Frankton got a big 4-1 victory over rival Lapel on Thursday. The Eagles won number 2 and number 3 singles and 3-setters to pull off the rivalry victory. At number 2 singles, Sloan Harrison won the first set 6-2, dropped the second 6-3, before taking the deciding set 6-0. At number 3 singles, Lily Hall held off Audrey Long 4-6, 6-3, and 10-4 in the super tiebreaker. Lapel's win came at number 1 singles, where Kayla Richwine knocked off Lainey Hammaker 7-5, 6-2. Both Frankton's doubles teams won in straight sets. 23rd ranked and rising, Delta handed Alexandria its first loss of the season, 6-1 in a modified format. Gwen Stinson got her first varsity win for Alexandria in a super tiebreaker at number 4 singles. Blackford beat shorthanded Elwood 5-0 Thursday. The Bruins won 4 of the 5 matches in straight sets. However, Jessica Brinkeroff and Lorelei Heil needed 3 sets to beat Elena Neal and Caitlin Pan 2-6, 6-3, 6-2. Number 3 singles was also very competitive, where Emily Ellison defeated Julissa Reyes 7-3 in the first set tiebreaker and 6-3 in the second. Tipton beat Logansport 5-0 and got 3 6-0, 6-0 wins from Kendall Coe at number 1 singles, Avery Bittner at number 2 singles, and Catherine Helminiak and Emily Mumbauer at number 2 doubles. New Pal beat Yorktown 4-1. Jillian Darby was victorious at number 1 singles for the Tigers, winning the first set 7-5 in a tiebreaker, and the second set 6-0 against the Dragons' Arabella Deisher. Kokomo blanked Logansport 5-0. The Wildcats' 3 singles players dropped just 1 game combined. 16th ranked Mount Vernon blanked Greenfield Central, and Hamilton Southeastern topped Noblesville 4-1. In college baseball, Crossroads League champion Taylor is 39-8 after overpowering Marion 11-1 and 10-0 in a doubleheader Thursday. Gable Pentecost allowed just 4 hits in 6 innings in the opener, and Jake Boyer and Nathan Brady combined on a shutout in Game 2. Boyer's now 6-1. Luke Picciotti had 5 RBIs on the day, and Indiana Wesleyan swept Spring Arbor 16-6 in 8 innings and 7-3 in a doubleheader Thursday in Marion. Brock Buckley earned his 8th win of the season in the nightcap, and now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the Central Indiana Scoreboard show, please share it with your friends and family. We would greatly appreciate it. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.